Hi, everybody, and welcome to this month's mug. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy, and I'm part of the customer success team. So today, myself and my colleague Cian will be showcasing you some features that are on Monday.com. So I'm first of all just going to run through some housekeeping. So our demo is going to take approximately 30 minutes. Sometimes it runs over, but it is an open discussion. So please feel free to ask any questions at the end of each of our features, or you can also pop it in the chat at any stage as well. Um, a recording of this call will be sent to you all tomorrow. And this will be sent to you along with a survey so you can let us know how great we were. And it will also give you the chance then to add any suggestions of features that you'd like us to discuss in the next mug. So I will just click onto our agenda. So I'm going to cover some advanced reporting today. Cian then is going to go through some team capacity planning, which is very exciting. And then I'll take the mic back then for some of the coolest features that have been recently released. They were released in March. And then we'll have a Q&A, and then Cian will go through an exclusive event that we have hosted in London for next month. Perfect. So I think we should get started. So one moment now. Everybody can see my screen okay? Great.
Yep.
Fantastic. So this here is just an example that I have of a sales pipeline. So it's where we can visually track the sales, we can visually track the progress of any of the deals that have been made by the sales team and what they're working on. But what I want to show you here is some advanced reporting from this. And I think one of the best ones that we can show, well, my favorite one to look at is the chart view. So it's the stacked chart. So we'll add our view from up here. As you can see, it doesn't look like much here. So we need to click into our settings and just make some adjustments in here. So I'm going to, first of all, select the chart that I want, which is going to be the stacked chart. And then basically we go through all these filters that are down here to the right-hand side. We'll be able to get a more definement of the details that we're looking for. So here we can see all the sales team along here, and that's what's in the stack chart, but we want more detail. So if we click into the x-axis, we're going to change that into the sales consultant. So I'll mark my people column from that. Gives you better visual. And then what we are going to stack it by, which is down here. So it's basically what they're stacked by. And we're going to click in here, and I want to stack that as the plan type. So we want to see, what people are selling, what's there visually for us to identify. And then what we want to do is make this x-axis. I'm going to change that to the sale price. So again, just more information. So it looks like Shauna is absolutely smashing her goals this month. And next, what we can actually add to this as well is a benchmark. So this is like a goal for your team to see what they can achieve, and see basically where they're at with their goals. And we'll just mark that as a goal. And you can also change the color of this, which is quite cool. And another thing that I actually noticed in the roadmap that I was looking at this week is that you're actually going to be able to change the colors. It's not here at the moment, but it's coming in May, as far as I know. And you're going to be able to color code the actual charts yourself. So all these charts, you'll be able to brand them as what you want them to be, what color you want them, which is going to be amazing for branding as well. And if I click into more settings here, a great one that I think is good to have is that you can show cumulative data. So this is going to show you all the information that goes straight across any of the boards that you have in total. So that there, I think, is really interesting. It's a really great chart to be able to view. And then finally, you have your choose your group. So this is basically just all the groups that you have on your main table and how you're able to view them in here. So that there is just one view that I think is really interesting. The next one that I think is quite cool, and I don't think it's used as much, it is exclusive just to enterprise plans. And I'm just going to find here, we search the pivot view. So the pivot view, so this will allow us to have a better analysis of the different verticals of your board. So what you do is you kind of, what we say is slice and dice the information, but being fully flexible, customizable, and the view then will enable us to have like a deeper level of reporting. And as I said before, it's exclusive to enterprise accounts or enterprise plans. So as we're looking at this now, first glance, it's not very exciting. However, once we start the slicing and dicing, I think that's when the magic happens. So what we want to do is put any information down here, down the vertical side. So I'm going to choose the people column. And it's just drag and drop. So in here, you'll be able to see all of my team members, and then what I want to see going vertically. I think I have that right, vertically and horizontally. 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 I was like, I get confused between.
Yeah, I get them confused
it's
too.
like the left and right, so I just can't do it. So what I want to put across here maybe is let me see, I'm going to put the date in. Now we can amend this date as well, because there is a lot of, I think it's a bit clogged there. So we can put the date in, and then we can also put in the, say, sale price. And what else will I put in? Maybe the plan type. I'll put that on this side. So I can make this larger. So this here is basically just giving you a full overview of the totals of what dates, what money, and you can move this around yourself. You can also change the count. So this here will give you, there's lots of different options that you have of a type of count. So we can put in the sum as well. If you're doing it on a different, if you have like a money chart, this is how you'd be able to change it in here. And you can also change this table then to a heat map, which is really cool. I think it's probably one of the best things from here. And what we do then is click into our more options, the three magic buttons up here, click into your settings. And yeah, so you can change the heat map settings, click in here, and you can have it like high color, your high value and your low value. And this currently is blue, so we can change this color coding to whatever way you guys want to have it, which is really cool as well. So yeah, just as I said, slicing and dicing on this is really cool. You can really format it and then save the view to what you want it to be as well. And the great thing as well is being able to, as I said, the date currently, the way I have it is I think it's quite chunky. So we can change it to the month. We'll change the month name, or you can change to the quarter, or you can change to the year. So it's a really good way, like a high level overview of you being able to see exactly what your team has been working on, what they've been achieving in the year, the quarter, or the month. And then the last sentence that I kind of want to show you is the filter. So you can filter by person. So you can zone in exactly and save that filter as well per team member. Or you can do you can filter by group. So any type of group or any type of information that you want to filter by, yeah, you can do it through here. So that there is the pivot view. So it's not used that often, but I think once people start using it and see the benefits, you will see the benefits of it. So yeah, they are the two advanced charts, boards that I kind of wanted to show you guys. Was there any questions from that? Any questions in the chat? I don't think there is. Cool. Okay. Perfect. Phew, I'm off. So I'm going to hand you over now to Cian, who's going to go through the team capacity planning. So Cian,
cool. Thanks very much, Amy. Appreciate that. Hi everyone. My name is Cian. I'm a customer success representative here at Provident, and today I'm going to show you how you can streamline your team's capacity and resource management, because I think a lot of us know that juggling workloads and deadlines can be tricky. So we'll dive in and see how Monday can help simplify that process. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see that. Is that all good?
All good, Cian, thanks.
Cool, perfect. So I'm going to start by showing you a couple of boards, which are some ongoing projects, as you can see here on the left. As you can see, I got really creative with the names. We have Project A and Project B. And I know, obviously, if we want to manage the team's capacity effectively, we'll need to add a few columns in these boards. So some key columns to add are the people column. So we can assign tasks to team members in the people column here. We should add a timeline column to keep track of the project. And finally, we will add a numbers column and input the estimated time it will take to complete each task. So these three are key if we want to have a good overview as to how we're going to manage our projects. So as you can see also in both boards, we have our projects broken down into key stages. So these will become the main groups on our board. As you can see, I'm just waiting for something pretty simple to follow: pre-production, production, and post-production on both boards. So once this is all set up, okay, and we have the people column, the timeline column, and the time estimated column, this is when the magic happens. So after this, we want to create a dashboard. And you're going to want to add a widget called the workload view. So you'll probably have to go into more widgets and type in workload. Now I've added it already, so I don't need to add it again. And here you can see our team members that have been assigned to the specific tasks. And if we go over to the time when our tasks started, you can see our team's workload. So this is great for project managers to have an overview of the team's workload in these projects. And as you assign tasks to team members, you can see the workload visually represented here by these blue icons. So the entire team can be managed from this view without having to dive into the individual project boards. So from here, if you hover over the blue circles, you can take a peek and see what each team member is working on. You can see here I'm working on both project A and B in the same day, or in the same week, sorry. And you can see how many hours we have allocated. Now I'll come back to that in a second. But it's a fantastic view and really easy to dive in to see how the team is getting on with their workloads. So you can also expand each one here and get a really, easy to follow view as to the items people are working on. Now we'll come back to this in a second. I'm going to show you how you can delegate workloads in a second. But up top, I just want to go through a couple of things. So you have the ability, first of all, to filter by people. So if you want to check in on a specific employee, see how well or bad they're doing, we can filter here. So we can see exactly what I'm working on. Again, if we scroll over to when the projects are, you can see what me and Amy are working on. You can get really granular with this, and you can save the filters. But you can also filter by pretty much anything. You can filter by the groups, as in we can see our 3 groups that we had in our boards. We can filter by the status, owner, groups. It's really granular, so you can really get a lot of information here. And you can see how projects are coming along, if they're on time, if they're stuck, if they're in progress. So it's really powerful. And then over here on the top right-hand side, we have just like different calendar views. So we can see it by days, Thursday 12th, 13th, 14th, weeks, and then finally we have months here. Now, we can take our resource management a lot further by setting team member capacity per week. And this is really powerful. So I'm going to show you this now, and because it creates a visual red flag if somebody is hitting the workload limit. And we can see this here. For example, we can see that I'm working past my set limit of 20 hours for the week, and I'm working on 21.8 hours. Again, I'll come back to this in a second. But I'm going to go through all the settings options here. So one of the main things you're going to want to look at is effort and capacity. So sorry, I'm just going to minimize this here. Oh, I don't think I can get rid of it. Do you know the little team screen in the corner? Kind of gets in the way, but anyways, it's fine.
Okay. Off to the side.
Actually, yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
Yeah.
Perfect. So here you can see we can measure the effort, right, by either hours or count items, which is really interesting. So we can set maybe, I don't know, 20 hours a week. So for example, if we're working on these projects, we may want to delegate a certain amount of time per week. Now we can either have it based on the work schedule. You'll see these updated. That's about 36 hours. Again, the work schedule can be changed in the admin settings on your Monday accounts, or you can go to custom. So I set a custom weekly capacity for the amount of effort a person can be assigned per week, and I have it as 20 hours. Now you can also edit the capacity per person. So it doesn't have to be 20 hours per person across the board. I can give Amy, like, if she was annoying me one week and I said she needs to get to work, give her 30 hours, 40 hours for the week, so you can get really granular with how you assign your capacity to your team. Again, you can divide the effort by the sum. So example, in a 10 effort project, Dan's effort will be 10 while Dana's is 10, or you can split the effort. So if a few people are working on something, the workload will be split and you can see the time gets divided between them like that. You also have different view settings. So you can look at the team's effort either in numbers. So right here, you can see someone's working 5.2 hours, 6.3. So Amy on this week is only doing 6.3 hours. I'm doing, 11.7. But we can look at it as a percentage too. So you can get an idea just at a glance at how everyone's getting on with their workload. We can also color everything by board. So as you can see along the bottom here, we can see our tasks are kind of arranged by the board. So we have our two different boards, project A and B. But we can also color this any way we want. We can look and we can see the status of all these items just by clicking this. So we can see that, we're stuck on the consent forms right now. These are done, these are being worked on. So it's really powerful. You can really change, how you want this to show on the board. Again, you can change your fiscal year, start month. You can choose what boards show up in this view. You can have just one of your projects. You can have, if you're working on 10 projects, you can have all these show up, but you can again filter by project here, which is really powerful. And finally, we have the group section. So you can have specific groups in specific projects reflected on this board. So again, you can get really granular with this. And based on this data, you can generate reports to identify trends. You could optimize your project allocation and improve your team's resources, just from this view, which is really powerful. So I think that's about it for me on this. Again, if you want to dive in further into it, feel free to send me an email. We can book in a meet and go through it, maybe case by case, like based on your needs. Exactly. So yeah, that's me. I'll hand it back to Amy. If there's any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat as well.
Brilliant, Cian. I do think that the workload view is something that can be used in every company.
For sure. And one thing, you know what? There's one thing I forgot to mention. You can manage equipment and things from here. It doesn't just have to be people.
Oh.
For example, I think me and Ollie were working with a company where they lend out, equipment to people. So they really need to keep track of their equipment and maybe how many hours they, and when the equipment will become available again. So again, you can really customize this to your use case. So it's amazing. Yeah, it's really good.
It really is. Excellent. I'm just checking if there's any questions that we have from there. I don't see any in the chat, so I think you get away lightly. But again, as Cian said, if you guys, anybody wants to kind of deep dive into the workload, like the team capacity planning, just let us know and one of us can jump on a call and go by your use cases to and set it up with you that way. So I will take charge again. So be able to see my screen, okay?
Yep.
Perfect. So I want to go through some of the latest features. So these are just some of the features that I think are really cool. There has been quite a few on in the March release. But what I wanted, some of these are just some of the ones that I think are super cool. So the first one, and I think this is a long awaited one, it is a new automation. So we click into automations here. It is a sub item automation. So it loads. That awkward few minutes where you're like, is it going to work?
It's always when you present something happens, and offline it's always perfect.
Love Alive.
Maybe a little refresh or something.
Yeah. So while I'm waiting for that to load, okay. Let's have a look. There we go. Okay. So the one that I think a lot of us have been waiting for, it's so when a sub item is created, it is now then going to action something. So I think that is long awaited. It's going to be very effective on a lot of workflows. So that's just one that they are working a lot. There's going to be lots of automation releases going through the roadmap this year. So that's just one that I thought was super cool that was released in March. Yeah, so when a sub item is created, it will then action another action. Another one then, so these next two that I want to show you actually relate to admin. So you would need to have admin access. But what's really cool is the first one, it's the connections. So if you click into your admin settings and then you click into your connections, you can see from here any of the integrations that are created on your account. You can see who created that integration, who the owner is, what boards, whether it's a private board or not, and most importantly, if you want to be able to disconnect it as well. It just gives you more control of your account, of what's been done on it, and obviously as well, if there's an outside third-party integration, you'll be able to control that too. And really exciting is our content directory. So this has been updated. So this is where we can actually see any of the workspaces, any boards, and what's really cool is that we can see any private boards. So any private boards that are created on your account, it's now going to be able to be visible to you in the admin section as well. So there were just three of the kind of cool features that I thought were being released, that have been released recently. I'm wondering, is there any questions from that?
And so I think Yen said, do we have an automation to transfer sub-items to another board without converting them to items and sending them to a board and having to make sub-items again? I'm not sure, to be honest, off the top. I know that is something that there is a limitation around. I don't know if the new sub-item automations is going to change that. But I mean, I can follow up with you. I'll check on, I'll play around with that, and then I'll get back to you by email.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, happy to jump on a call as well, to discuss that with you, and maybe have a workaround. If it's not in place at the moment, we can have a workaround, see if we can have a workaround for yeah, for it to work.
Yeah, I'll get back to you by the end of the day with an email as well, just so you know, I give you that answer.
Brilliant. So that is, if there's any other questions that anybody has, feel free to ask us. Or again, as you said, you can follow up in the chat, or you can reach out to myself and Cian with any questions or queries that you may have on anything that we've covered today, or anything that you want to discuss in the future. We're happy to jump on a call to discuss. And last but not least, the exciting part, Cian is going to discuss an event that we have.
Yeah, so we are hosting a whiskey tasting event in London. So you can see the details there on the screen. It's on Thursday, the 16th of May at 7:30. Us Irish love a drink, so we would love if you could join us for a couple. It'd be great to see you there. So what I will do is I will put in the link here now where you can RSVP. It'd be great if you could join us. We can have the chats. It'd be fantastic. And brilliant. Letitia got there ahead of me. You can register your information there. And before we go, I forgot one thing that I just want to share my screen again with you guys. So in relation to the workload view, because I got completely distracted and forgot to show you the part that I was really supposed to show you, was where we can delegate. So if somebody, for example, is overloaded on a particular day, you can drag and drop something maybe into the next day, or you can reassign tasks very easily from this view. So for example, I'm very overloaded here. If I click into one of my tasks, I can remove myself from the task, and instead I could, for example, add Oliver or whoever else on the team, and this will free up some of my time. So that's it. I just want to show you that because I completely forgot. But yeah, any more questions for me or Amy? Because I think that about wraps everything up. And so again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We'll give you back those last 3 minutes. And again, feel free to email us with any questions. Thanks so much.